You guys know I love my Thursdays because guess what? We go right into another episode of No Gatekeeping. I'm Carlyn Bushman, business consultant, strategist, and focus on helping female founders not only start but grow their businesses as well. And today we are here live with Julie. Julie Rotuno is the CEO of Mid Atlantic Packaging, a second generation family business with a bold vision, packaging as an emotional and strategic brand extension. As an Air Force veteran, thank you, Julie, wife and mom of two daughters, Julie brings discipline and heart to her work with a keen eye. I love that word, keen. With a keen eye for trends, sustainability, and consumer behavior, she's pushing packaging beyond boxes in the traditional sense, turning it into brand magic that connects and converts. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Carlyn. How are you?
I am doing so great. I love these days. I had two podcast episode recordings this morning, followed by two incredible calls with two female founders. And now I get to talk to you. Like, does it get any better than that for
Love it.
me?
That sounds amazing to me. I did, real quick, just want to note that my husband is the Air Force veteran. So I'm the wife of a proud wife
Oh,
of an Air Force veteran.
I
Yes.
love that. And thank you to him
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
thank you for his service as well. And you are in that supportive space also. So we always are so grateful for our military that allows us all these freedoms. And it's
Yes.
really important to recognize that. Yeah, I could go into a whole conversation about our vets. I'm a huge fan of supporting vets, actually, and have done lots of fundraisers in that space. And yeah, it means a lot. So thank you for pointing that out. It's a really
Of
nice
course.
conversation to have as well.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so talking about Julie, like packaging, most of us think about like Amazon boxes or, I'm going to use that as something easy or the envelopes. I think I already actually received an Amazon delivery today. So when you say packaging as a brand, and I just want to talk about that a little bit, like how important is that really to us in our businesses?
In today's world, it is becoming more and more important with social media and marketing and branding, utilizing your packaging in those ways, as well as when you're in a competitive market space and you want to stand out, having that plain corrugated brown packaging or just a white mailer, plain box. It doesn't tell anybody where it came from, what is in it. And so you're missing an opportunity, a huge opportunity to be able to market yourself for brand recognition. And studies have been done over the years, and continuously it shows that packaging does impact how a person buys. If a product is on a shelf, they might choose something, even if they've been choosing one brand for a long time. If they really like the packaging of something else, they're more inclined to try it or to go back and be a returning customer. As well as in a store, the packaging that you walk out in, or being able to then use it as a gift. And so in today's world, where branding is vital in all levels, no matter, in all sincerity, no matter what your business is, you want people to recognize your company, to have that brand recognition. And if you're already spending money on packaging, you might as well utilize it to really build your brand. And also, it helps to be able to increase your sales and make more money.
I couldn't agree with you more. So when you look at I love the way the thought of it standing out. It's so crowded, right? Everything is so crowded these days with product-based businesses and or service-based if you've got some products or things like that, or like you mentioned, packaging really across the board. But if I'm thinking specifically about product-based business, e-com businesses, brick and mortar, right? If I'm doing wholesale, so it will show up on a store shelf, things like that. And I look at two and one just has that elevated look and feel, you automatically lean into that. It just sounds so scary to me to think about investing in that. Like, I mean, when you talk about studies and that could increase sales or that actually, impacts that, like, can you say more about that? Because the first thing I think of is, oh gosh, I'm thinking of my cost of goods sold. I'm like, oh, now I got to have another column with another percentage of another increase to the price of my item.
Yes. There's multi tiers as far as how you can go about it. And I'm going to break it down into what I call our three pillars as far as how we help our customers. And the first grouping is whether it is someone that's just getting started or they're really have a tight budget and looking at, okay, maybe you can't go for that branded box quite yet. However, how can you utilize your brand colors, or what does your business, your brand stand for? Who are you and your brand, and utilizing that to help with what style of packaging you use, even if it doesn't have your name on it, so to speak, but that way while you're getting started. Then you have what is our middle tier, which is where in a lot of businesses you do this as far as its combination. What is that one piece of packaging that, like a bag or a box, that you do have branded, or a label that is branded with your logo that you can put on that box, that bag, on that envelope, and then utilize your brand colors and the aesthetics of, or the season that it's in, to help to create that all, like that brand experience, that customer experience you want. And then there's that third pillar, which is you're ready for full on custom mode, which means all of your packaging you want to be fully customized for you. It has your brand, it has your logo. It's maybe based off of your product, you do have to have a customized box or insert for that product. So how do you, based off of your budget, who you are, who your brand is, who your customer is, so what is it that they're expecting when they go to purchase something? That's how we really help our customers with making sure that they still have that piece of that customer experience, that brand experience, no matter what size you are of a business and what your budget is.
That is so reassuring because the things that are going through my head, Julie, I think about like, well, I could just get this done overseas for less. I could just do packaging overseas. I know I might have to order 500 units or 1,000 units or whatever it is to make it cost effective, but I could just do it and it would be a lot less money. Or, I don't really have a branding person. I'm too early in my business. I don't have a branding person, but I know I need to put something together quickly for the holidays, and speaking of, like, that's right around the corner, right? And I need to figure out what that's going to look like. So, what I'm hearing from you is you've really continued to build and grow this family business, which is another conversation that we'll dig into, um, to really have a good customer experience, your customers, which are all these businesses who are either just getting started, but they also need more than just like, here's my logo, here's my colors. Like, you're open to talking to them to say, okay, this is actually going to be the best thing for you, both from a visibility and a cost perspective. Is that what I'm hearing? So like, this is accessible. What I love hearing, and I think I'm understanding this, is it's accessible to really any business.
Correct, 100%. That's something that our company was founded on 43 years ago is that customer service. That is one area. There's so many factors in business that you do not have control over. However, your customer service you have 100% control over. And here at Mid Atlantic Packaging, that's something that concierge service. How can we bring that value for our customers? Owning a business is a lot. You're having to make so many decisions throughout your day. And I know from experience like how many decisions I have to make, and we only know what we know, what we're exposed to. And so something that I've learned personally and that we really have built upon here is that it's important to have an expert in your corner. You're the expert in your business, in the product that you are building your business around, that you're selling. You're that expert. No one is going to know it better than yourself. So when it comes to something like packaging, the packaging journey that you're on, then partnering, teaming up with an expert that can help you, and so it can take some of that stress off your shoulders and you to be able to cross one thing off your list. I'm a big like list person, and I know personally when it comes to areas that I don't have a lot of knowledge in, that is where I really count on people that I can trust, those experts to help guide me. And that is a huge important piece of being a business owner is knowing that, because we try to do everything ourselves, especially when you're first getting started. But even when you're going through the growth stages and you try to take on as much as possible, it's still, where can you get that expertise or that help? And it might not be any additional cost to you. So really lean in. For example, like when you're doing these sessions right now, like someone's
Yeah.
able to listen and learn and then go and apply it. And just as a business owner, I know like I'm a mom of two girls, I'm a wife, the family business, all of my family that matters so much to me. It's a lot to juggle, and we only have so much time in the day. So it's really important for us to own it and know when to lean into others to help.
Yeah, and I like that. I'm a huge fan of delegation, not abdication, but delegating these things, right? Having some involvement and understanding how you want it to look and feel and represent who you are, what you do, or what you're selling. But you don't have to do it all yourself. So okay, so because I'm huge on education and there's no gatekeeping, of course, like, I mean, I always say to everybody who's watching, ask us anything. Like if you're following us, if you have questions, if you watch this recording, feel free to always drop in the chat or the comments anytime asking us any questions. On that note, what do you see? Do you see something interesting trending into like the holiday season or into the fall and winter? Is there anything that we should know about as businesses that seems to be, you know, different?
So the gifting industry, that gifting culture, it continues to grow. You, there was a point in time where gift cards was prevalent everywhere. And that's what everyone had changed gears to. And while gift cards are still awesome in a lot of ways, there's continues to be more of a push for that personal, like that personalization. And so that is a trend that we're continuing to see, not just for this fall and holiday season, but really going into 2026. That continuing that push of the unboxing experience, with us continuing to be with social media and constantly taking photos and taking videos and sharing things, that is still continuing to grow. So that is a trend, definitely. When you think about your product line, your business, your retail store, and the packaging that you're going to use, thinking of it as, okay, well, if someone's going to take a picture of this, let me make sure that they can tell where they got, someone else can see where I got it from, so that they can come and support my business and purchase from somebody else, as well as continuing for people to perceive every what your product is, what your brand is, as an experience and a gift in itself. So that, when someone hands them that bag that comes from your store, that person knows it and is so excited to get that open, because they're like, oh, yes, what did I get next from this store? Because I absolutely love it. Or from this brand that I absolutely love.
That is so interesting you brought that up. So, literally, a story was shared with me last night. I went to a girls' dinner last night, which was absolutely delightful. And during that girls' dinner, somebody was talking about receiving a gift from somebody, and it was in a box of one of her favorite stores. That I think this one was in New York. And as soon as she saw the box and she was getting ready to open the gift, she knew it was just going to be fabulous, because that store is known, and it's not any of the big players. It's not the ones that we could think of. This was a small boutique location in the middle of New York. And because they had great packaging, she knew when she was about to open that box, like, it immediately caught her attention and she was excited. She opened the box and of course she was, delighted. So it does create that emotion. And that was a story that was just shared last night. So I love how relevant that is. We do have a question from Michaela, who's watching this right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask you, do you suggest getting feedback from customers about your packaging? And then second, on the follow, how do you actually go about doing that?
I think that part of it naturally is that I've seen myself, and as a shopper myself, like, and I'm in a boutique, I'm in a store, and someone during the holiday season is wrapping a package for somebody. The reactions, if you listen to what people are saying, how people respond to when you hand it to them, that will tell a lot. That's an easy one if you're not really quite sure about how to go about getting people's opinions. But that's an easy one, as far as just reading the room, reading how people respond and how excited they get, or not excited about things. Another that you could do is utilize like a poll on social media, and just take a poll on, what do you guys think of my packaging? Or what could be fun is, hey, we're going between this product, this design and this design, or this and that, and have people vote on it. So that's also, or a customer survey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something, whether it's your packaging or your like the customer experience, that's also really valuable, is getting that feedback from your customers, so that you know what you're doing well, what areas you could improve on, or what things maybe you could just stop doing because it's not positively impacting your business being successful.
Well, and Julie, you mentioned social media, and I think there's something to be said about unboxing that occurs inside social media as well, right? So if you have some of those influencers or ambassadors, or, close confidence or whatever it might be, like you've just described, even asking some of those ambassadors or influencers, hey, I'm making a decision between two styles of packaging for an unboxing, or whatever that would look like. Do you like this or do you like this? Would this be better on camera? And do you think you'd get a better response? So I even think, and I just had a podcast episode today before this, where we really talked about feedback and how important it is to get feedback. And it's such a gift. And I think sometimes A, we're afraid to ask for it, or B, we just don't even think to ask the right questions when it comes to feedback. So I think what you just described, which I really like, is specifically even saying, give us two choices. Do you like this packaging in blue, or would you prefer that this, shows up a little bit better in orange, or something like that, right?
And that, it gets people excited, it gets them interacting with your brand. So you're building that brand, that customer loyalty. And a lot of people we know, especially when you're on social media, they love to give their opinions. So you might as well just ask and get it so that and use it for the good.
Right, I agree. So, as I'm thinking about packaging and your first time founders, when somebody comes to you as a first time client, right, or they haven't really done anything beyond buying stickers from Sticker Meal as an example and putting them on their bags, and they're selling it at potentially, boutiques or farmers markets, or their product, they may not have established a big wholesale business. So their product might not be showing up in, out retail outlets, stockists, things like that. What's one tip you would give to just get started? Like, I mean, it can be overwhelming.
The I would say a great tip is first thinking of what you're selling. What is the product that you're selling or the products? And knowing, so therefore first getting started, is it a bag or is it a box? Or what is the product as far as, is it heavy? Does it need to be wrapped so it doesn't break? Just thinking of it basic, just like that. If someone was to carry it away, what would it need? And just first starting there. That's the basic, like, packaging 101, is first just knowing. And it still can be, even with that, overwhelming. I remember when I first got started officially here, like full time, and after I taught school for a few years, and someone called and I answered the phone and they were asking me what size boxes they should use for these really random types of products. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. So I was like, please hold on a second, let me get, and the expert over here, which is one of our other customer service people that have been here for a long time, so that she could help them. So I get it totally. And that's why for us, we are also really focused on the education piece. So our blogs, trying to break it down, but we are actually about to launch a series with videos and more posts and things about the content around education and that packaging 101. For example, if you go to our website and you look at shopping bags, there is a breakdown of, based off the products you use, what would fit in a bag, certain size bags.
Oh,
So even just getting tools
so
like that.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you're doing that, Julie, also thinking about what cost. I mean, is there a budget I should know about as a first time founder who's maybe thinking about holiday, packaging for my specific offering, and I want to go out to trade shows or markets or, retail outlets and things like that, or even in my own store, whatever the case might be. Should there be some kind of budget that I can like plan on? Because I feel like otherwise I'm shooting in the dark a little.
Yes. So the most bang for your buck that you're going to get starting out is that standard chocolate and vanilla, which is the white and craft
Mm-hmm.
paper. So
Mm-hmm.
a white paper shopping bag or craft paper shopping bag, or that in boxes, those are going to be your cheaper, more, those will be cheaper than something in a color, for example, a tint. Plastic can be cheaper than paper. What gets tricky is knowing what are in your local area or in your state, what laws there are.
Mm.
Because in some areas, only specific types of businesses are allowed to say use plastic bags
Mm.
versus paper. And that, me sharing that isn't to overwhelm somebody with, oh great, there's something else that I need to know. But so starting out there, and the most inexpensive way to first start branding your packaging, even if it's just, a clear cello bag with your product in it, is to do a label, a sticker, or a tag.
Mm.
That those would be the most bang for your buck getting started. The minimums, being a lot lower, and starting there.
That's such great information because I think like we want our products to look really great. We want to have a great display. We want to do all these things. It gets us really excited. I know in the creative space, I love like when I get some really interesting packaging, I'm like, oh my gosh, this just really stands out and I love it. And then the flip side of it is I also am well aware of, sustainability, and I don't want to fill up a bunch of like I want to be able to reuse something, or I want to be able to make sure it's recyclable or something, right? So it is a
Right.
balancing act for sure. And it's really good to know that you offer all of those things and you can advise us on cost versus experience versus minimums, and then of course any laws that we need to be aware of or anything that might prohibit us from going a certain direction. So I think we have one more question, our last question that just came in, which is great. Is there something in the packaging industry that you would say to stop doing? Like maybe this is not trending anymore. Is there one thing you're like, hey, if you take away anything, please don't do this anymore. Like it's you're losing.
So our you'll probably laugh and people will laugh at me because yes, we are a packaging company, but I will say one of the biggest things that I highly recommend not doing is to not offer packaging. So when someone comes into your store and spends money, like their money in your store, and then they have to walk out holding it themselves or to remember to bring their own bag with them, that is a bit of a buzzkill as far as the experience as a buyer. So, yes, your store, you might cut an expense. However, how is the actual impact long term on your revenue because of having those repeat buyers? I can speak from experience being a busy mom in places where I'm supposed to remember to bring my own bags. 9 times out of 10, I forget until I'm already in there, even though they're in my car. Because I'm just, so you go into a store, you buy. One of my teammates here went traveled over to the West Coast, and they went into an antique store and bought these beautiful things, and then they just handed them over, and they were breakable. And she was like, "What am I supposed to do? Like, just carry these breakable things down the street?" So it does matter, and think of it from the standpoint of us as the shoppers. And if someone's going to come and spend their hard earned money on your products, then make sure that they're at least in a package to keep them from breaking, from getting dropped, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I think there's a time and a place. If I'm buying a greeting card in a store and I'm carrying out one greeting card, or I could put it in my purse or handbag or tote or whatever, that's one thing. But I think the experience is all part of it. And I know when I have had the luxury of spending some time shopping, in various locations, when I'm carrying the bag of whatever it is, there's oftentimes where somebody will stop me to say, oh, where is that store? Or where did you find that? Or where's that location? So it is a natural marketing opportunity
Yes,
also.
it's a
Yeah.
walking billboard.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it is truly a walking billboard.
And make it fun
If
and
you
interesting. Like put a piece of conversation on there, right? I have a conversation starter on the shopping bag that says something. I know when I've seen different things like that, it just makes me laugh, but I remember it.
Yeah, or if you're walking, down the street or down the boardwalk or wherever you live, and you keep seeing this bag over and over again with the store's name, and you're like, okay, I need to find it. Versus if there's no way for you to know where they were shopping, and it's just say in a plain craft shopping bag, unless someone has the fortitude to come and ask, like you, hey, where did you get that? Um, you're missing those opportunities.
Agree. Well, Julie, thank you so much for like giving us so much of the ins and outs of packaging, right? I think it's something that is so wonderful to be on the forefront of our minds instead of like a secondary thought, right? Especially going into this holiday season, I think it's really, really important. And it does so much more than just carry your goods, right? Like you just mentioned, it's a marketing billboard. So, this is truly what No Gatekeeping is about, where we dig in with real strategy and real stories. If you want to continue to be part of No Gatekeeping and are interested in following us, please subscribe so you don't miss what is next, which will be next Thursday. And if today's episode resonated or you're more curious about packaging, share this with a fellow founder. We'll put in the show notes where to reach out to Julie and her team at Mid Atlantic Packaging for all the solutions as you approach the holiday season. And then, of course, what's trending into the next year. So, thank you very much, Julie. It was a delight to have you here. And I always love reconnecting with you.
Yes, the feelings are mutual. Thank you so much.